The kingdom Protista consists of a wide assortment of primarily aquatic eukaryotic organisms, whose diverse body forms, types of reproduction, modes of nutrition, and lifestyles make them difficult to characterize. Basically, this kingdom is defined by exclusion. That is, all members have characteristics that exclude them from other four kingdoms. All protists are eukaryotic and have evolved from prokaryotes. Another reason for creating a separate kingdom arises from the difficulty in placing certain eukaryotic organisms in the appropriate kingdom. This difficulty is a consequence of the fact that other eukaryotic kingdoms have their evolutionary origin in kingdom Protista. The other eukaryotic kingdoms, Plantae, Fungi, and Animalia arose from the protists in various ways. The protists are unicellular, colonial, or simple multicellular organisms that possess a eukaryotic cell organization. Eukaryotic cells, the unifying features of protists, are the common two complex multicellular organisms belonging to the three eukaryotic kingdoms, fungi, Plantae, and Animalia, but clearly differentiate protists from the members of prokaryotic kingdom, Monera. Unlike plants and animals, however, protists do not develop from blastula or an embryo. The kingdom Protista contains four major groups of eukaryotic organisms, which are single-celled protozoans, unicellular algae, multicellular algae, slime molds, and oomycotes. Historical perspective. In 1861, John Hoare proposed the kingdom Protoctista for microscopic organisms. In 1866, Ernst Haeckel suggested creating the kingdom Protista to include bacteria and other microorganisms such as Euglena. He, however, separated blue-green algae and bacteria, prokaryotes, from nucleated protists and placed them in a separate group he called Monera within the kingdom Protista. In 1938, Herbert Copeland elevated the prokaryotes to kingdom status, thus separating them from Protista. In the five-kingdom system of Robert Whittaker, only unicellular eukaryotes were placed in the kingdom Protista. Currently, this kingdom also includes colonial and simple multicellular eukaryotes as well. Margulis and Schwartz in 1988 modified the five-kingdom system. Protista or Protoctista is one of the five kingdoms. Diversity among Protista. During the course of evolutionary history, organisms in the kingdom Protista have evolved diversity in their size and structure, means of locomotion, ways of obtaining nutrients, interactions with other organisms, habitat, and modes of reproduction. Diversity is exhibited by all of the major Protista groups. Based on the diversity, most biologists regard the protist kingdom as polyphyletic group of organisms. That is, the protists probably do not share a single common ancestor. Margulis and Schwartz have listed 27 phyla to accommodate this diverse assemblage of organisms. Major groups of Protista. Number 1. Protozoa. Animal-like protists. All protozoans are unicellular. Most ingest their food by endocytosis. Amoebae. This group includes all free-living freshwater, marine, and soil amoebae, as well as those that are parasites of animals. Amoebae lack flagella and move by forming specialized cytoplasmic projections called pseudopodia or false feet. The intestinal parasite Entamoeba histolytica causes amoebic dysentery in humans. The flowing pseudopods of amoeba constantly change shape as organism moves and feeds. The giant amoeba Pelomyxa pilastris may be the most primitive of all eukaryotic like forms. This species has multiple membrane-bound nuclei, but none of the other organelles found in all other eukaryotes. The giant amoebas obtain energy from methanogenic bacteria, which reside inside them. Giant amoebas inhabit mud at the bottom of freshwater ponds, where they contribute to the degradation of organic molecules. Zooflagellates. These protists are mostly unicellular organisms. A few are colonial, with spherical or elongated bodies with a single central nucleus. They possess from one to many long, whip-like flagella that enable them to move. Flagellates move rapidly, pulling themselves forward by lashing flexible flagella that are usually located at the interior end. Flagellates obtain their food either by ingesting living or dead organisms, or by absorbing nutrients from dead or decomposing organic matter. They may be free-living, symbionts, or parasites. Trichonymphus are complex specialized flagellates with many flagella, which live as symbionts in the guts of termites and help in the digestion of dry wood. Parasitic flagellates cause diseases. For example, trypanosoma is a human parasite causing African sleep sickness. It is transmitted by the bite of infected tsetse fly. Conoflagellates are sessile, marine or freshwater flagellates, which are attached by stack, and their single flagellum is surrounded by a delicate collar. They are of special interest because of their striking resemblance to collar cells in sponges. Ciliates. Ciliates are unicellular organisms with a flexible outer covering called a pellicle that gives them a definite but changeable shape. In paramecium, the surface of the cell is covered with the several thousand fine, short, hair-like structures called cilia. The cilia beat in such a precisely coordinated fashion that organism can go forward, can also go back and turn around. Some ciliates are sessile and remain attached to the rock or other surfaces. Their cilia set up water currents that draw food towards them. Most ciliates ingest bacteria or other tiny protists. Water regulation in freshwater ciliates is controlled by specialized organelles called contractile vacuoles. Ciliates differ from other protozoans in having two kinds of nuclei, one or more small diploid micronuclei that function in sexual process, and a large polyploid macronucleus that controls cell metabolism and growth. Most ciliates are capable of sexual process called conjugation. During conjugation, two individuals come together and exchange genetic material. Foraminifers and actinopods. These marine protozoans produce shells or tests. Tests of foraminifera are made of calcium, whereas those of actinopods are made of silica. The shells or tests contain pores through which cytoplasmic projections can be extended. These cytoplasmic projections form a sticky interconnected net that entangles prey. Dead foraminifers sink to the bottom of the ocean, where their shells form a grey mud that is gradually transformed into chalk. Foraminifers of the past have created vast limestone deposits. Epicomplexans. Epicomplexans are a large group of parasitic protozoa, some of which cause serious diseases such as malaria in the humans. Epicomplexans lack specialized structures for locomotion, but move by flexing. At some stage in their life, they develop a spore, a small infective agent transmitted to the next host. Many epicomplexans spend part of their life in one host and a part in different host species. Plasmodium, the epicomplexan that causes malaria, enters human blood through the bite of an infected female Anopheles mosquito. Plasmodium first enters liver cells and then red blood cells, where it multiplies. When each infected red blood cell bursts, many new parasites are released. These released parasites infect new red blood cells, and the process is repeated. The simultaneous bursting of millions of red cells causes the symptoms of malaria, a chill, followed by high fever, caused by toxic substances that are released and affect other organs of the body. The algae, plant-like protist. Algae, singular alga, are photosynthetic protists, carrying out probably 50 to 60% of all the photosynthesis on the earth. Plants account for most of the rest. Algae differ from the plants in their sex organs, which are unicellular, and the zygote is not protected by the parent body. A plant zygote, on the other hand, grows into multicellular embryo that is protected by parental tissue. Algae exhibit a remarkable range of growth forms. Some are unicellular, others are filamentous. Filaments are composed either of distinct cells or sinusoids, multinucleate structures that lack cross walls. Still others, like seaweeds, are multicellular and intricately branched or arranged in leaf-like extensions. A body which is not differentiated into two roots, stems, and leaves, and lacks xylem phloem is called thallus. In addition to green chlorophyll A, yellow and orange carotenoids, which are photosynthetic pigments, are found in all algae. Other algal phyla possess a variety of other pigments, such as xanthophylls and phycoerythrin, that are also important in photosynthesis. Classification into phyla is largely based on their pigment composition. Algal life cycles show extreme variation, but all algae except members of phylum Rhodophyta or red algae have forms with the flagellated motile cells in at least one stage of their life cycle. Almost all algae are aquatic. When actively growing, algae are restricted to damp or wet environments, such as the ocean, freshwater ponds, lakes, and streams, hot springs, polar ice, moist soil, trees, and rocks. The euglenoids. Euglenoids have at various times been classified in the plant kingdom with algae and in animal kingdom in protozoans. Based on molecular data, euglenoids are thought to be closely related to zooflagellates. However, some photosynthetic euglenoids lost their chlorophyll when grown in dark and obtain their nutrients heterotrophically by ingesting organic matter. Other species of euglenoids are always colorless and heterotrophic. Dinoflagellates. One of the most unusual protist phyla is that of dinoflagellates. Their cells are often covered with the shells of interlocking cellulose plates, impregnated with the silicates. Ecologically, dinoflagellates are one of the most important groups of producers, second only to diatoms, in marine ecosystem. Dinoflagellates are known to have occasional population explosions or blooms. These blooms frequently color the water orange, red or brown and are known as red tides. Diatoms. The cell walls of each diatom consist of two shells that overlap where they fit together, much like a petri dish. Silica is deposited in the shell, and this glass-like material is laid down in the intricate patterns. Diatoms are the major producers in the aquatic, marine and freshwater ecosystems because of their extremely large numbers. Diatoms are very important in aquatic food chains. Brown algae. Brown algae include the giants of Protist kingdom. All brown algae are multicellular and range from a few centimeters to approximately 75 meters in length. The largest brown algae, called the kelps, are tough and leathery in appearance. They possess leaf-like blades, stem-like stripes, and root-like anchoring holdfast. Brown algae are common in cooler marine waters, especially along rocky coastlines in the intertidal zone. Red algae. The multicellular body form of red algae is commonly composed of complex, interwoven filaments that are delicate and feathery. A few red algae are flattened sheets of cells. Most multicellular red algae attach to the rocks or other substances by a basal holdfast. Some red algae incorporate calcium carbonate in their cell walls from the ocean and take part in building coral reefs, along with coral animals. Polysiphonia is a representative red alga with a worldwide distribution. Green algae. Green algae have pigments, energy reserve products, and cell walls that are identical to those of plants. Green algae are photosynthetic with the chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, and carotenoids present in the chloroplast. Their main energy reserves are stored as starch. Most green algae possess cell walls with the cellulose. Because of these and other similarities, it is generally accepted that plants arose from ancestral green algae. Evidence from RNA sequencing also indicates that green algae and the plants form monophyletic lineage. Chlorella is a unicellular non-motile green alga. Its habitat is freshwater ponds and ditches. It's easily cultured and has been used as an experimental organism in research on photosynthesis, as well as being investigated as an alternative food source. Importance of algae. Algae has great economic and environmental importance for us. Some algae, such as kelps, are edible and may be used to overcome shortage of food in the world. Marine algae are a source of many useful substances like algin, agar, carrageenan, and antiseptics. Algae are major producers of the aquatic ecosystem. Thus, they play a basic role in food chains, providing food and oxygen to other organisms. Fungus like protists. Some protists superficially resemble fungi in that they are not photosynthetic, and some have bodies formed like thread-like structures called hyphae. However, fungus-like protists are not true fungi for several reasons. Many of these protists have centrioles and produce cellulose as a major component of their cell walls, whereas fungi lack centrioles and have cell walls of chitin. Two major groups of fungus-like protists are slime molds and water molds, mycotes. Slime molds or Myxomycota. The feeding stage of slime mold is plasmodium, a multinucleate mass of cytoplasm that can grow to 30 cm or 1 foot in diameter. The plasmodium, which is slimy in appearance, streams over damp, decaying logs and leaf litter. It often forms a network of channels that cover a large surface area. As it creeps along, it ingests bacteria, yeast, spores, and decaying organic matter. During unfavorable conditions, slime molds form resistant haploid spores by meiosis within stacked structures called sporangia. When conditions become favorable again, spores germinate into biflagellated or amoeboid reproductive or swarm cells, which unite to form diploid zygote. Zygote produces multinucleated plasmodium, each nucleus being diploid. The plasmodial slime mold Phaeostrum polycephalum is a model organism that has been used to study many fundamental biological processes such as growth and differentiation, cytoplasmic streaming, and functions of cytoskeleton. Water molds or oomycotes. Oomycotes show close relations with the fungi and have a similar structure, but are now regarded as more ancient group. Their cell wall contains cellulose, not chitin. Their hyphae are aseptate without cross walls. Oomycotes include a number of pathogenic organisms, including Phytophthora infestans, which have played an infamous roles in the human history. Phytophthora infestans was the cause of Irish potato famine of the 19th century. It causes a disease commonly known as late blight of potatoes. Because of the several rainy, cool summers in the island, in the 1840s the water molds multiplied unchecked, causing potato tubers to rot in the fields. Since potatoes were the staple of Irish peasants' diet, many people, 250,000 to more than 1 million, starved to death. The famine prompted a mass migration out of Ireland to such countries as the United States.